What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Full Circle. This is episode 29. We are almost 30. We're waving goodbye to the 20s, hello to the 30s with responsibilities and
30's the new 21.
Exactly. I was gonna make a Forever 21 reference, but I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. But what you should feel
is this episode.
I was gonna say my name anyway to Twitter, but I was like, no.
Yeah, that would have been awkward.
Yeah. What you should follow is me at Harmon Jr. at Harmon Jr. on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit. I'm not on Reddit. I have a different name on Reddit.
I am technically on Reddit, but I'm never actually on there.
See if you can find me.
Pokemon Hunter 1234.
Damn it. Well, if that really was it.
That'd be interesting. But I am Fradette, and I'm found on all places, including Reddit, at ToonVelo. So we have another exciting episode for you today. We'll be discussing trash talk, trash TV shows, trash series. We haven't come up with a name yet, but essentially, you know that show. It's utter garbage, and you just keep watching it for some reason.
But you hate it.
And you hate it, and you're like six series or 6 seasons in, and you just keep watching those.
We'll also be talking about mobile gamers. No, we're not talking about people who play their Switches in public. No, we're not talking about people with DSs and PSPs. Yes.
Or are we?
Or are we? We're talking about people who play exclusively and only on their phone.
For example, this is a phone.
Yes. I threw mine back there because I'm so popular that people always message me and I don't want to be distracted. I'm not. I distract myself. I can't be trusted with it on camera.
Nope.
So, are they gamers? Is mobile gaming serious?
Where they get their own league?
We'll discuss it.
We'll discuss it. So, but first and foremost, we'll be discussing what they should have done. So, you've watched a series and your favorite series, and they've just let your favorite character go off the rails, or they destroyed a perfectly good combo, or...
the story made logical
breaker.
sense. It had an obvious answer, and they ruined it. A la Star Wars Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Well, you didn't like the bureaucratic breakdown of, it explains so much, Odell. Midi-chlorians.
Yeah, at that point. So basically, we're going to analyze characters, storylines, situations, outcomes, beginnings, endings that they really dropped the ball on. And we're going to be here to say what they should have done.
Right?
And if you're thinking, don't people on YouTube already do that? Yes. And what are we?
On YouTube.
What?
Crazy.
Skaboosh.
Okay, so what are we discussing in this segment on this episode?
So... if you know me or follow me on social media, you know that I love Bleach, but I have a whole lot of qualms with it. Primarily how the series ended with the Bleach Quincy War.
Tight
Kubo. It was pretty bad. It was if it was the whole trash things that I should have kept watching was the ending of Bleach, but that's not the whole series. That's just that ending. Mm-hmm. And there's many, literally a laundry list of things we could talk about. But one thing we're going to start off with is probably Jared's favorite character from the series, Urahara Kisuke. And not the character, but his Bankai. Everyone at this point, you know what a Bankai is. It's basically like when a Bleach character goes Super Saiyan, they unleash their second unleashing of their sword.
Their Mega Evolution.
Yeah, their Mega Evolution. Their Super Saiyan, their, trump card, quite literally.
Right? So, we saw his Shikai release, a long time ago. Crimson Red Princess Scream and Bini Hime, and she effectively makes him a Red Lantern. He can make literally a Red Lantern, because unlike the other lanterns that create energy projections out of light, theirs is actually made out of blood. Just like his. Yeah. Part of the whole ritual when they put the ring on, they vomit up their heart, and their cardiovascular system is replaced by napalm energy construct. That's why you can't just take off the ring. Sorry. Anywho, but he's able to create, simple things. He's like blood red net, blood red firework, blood red sword, blood red shield.
Yeah, so he can make, constructs out of blood. I don't think it's his blood that's just made out of blood because...
Is it? So we get such little information on his sword, except for one flashback during the visor arc. Is this where he reveals that his sword is not for teaching?
Yeah, something like that.
And he's like, no, my sword is not a sword for teaching. And then he just goes and proceeds to slaughter everybody. So, is his power related to how many people he kills? Where does his blood come from?
We don't know. But we had enough information to understand its base power, base principle. Right? It was easy enough. You make constructs out of blood. You can fire blood projectiles. And, simple things. Something maybe as big as a door.
Right?
As thick as a wall.
And so, following the mantra of all Bleach things, level 2 of the sword is a exaggeration of level 1. Right?
Either thematically or power-wise. Like, it's usually just a souped-up version of the power, or usually there's a theme. Like, if your theme is light, if your theme is, sound, it may be a completely different power from what it originally was, but the effect is the same. I guess a great example of this is Soifan. She was an assassin. Her power was very, precise. The 2 kill, if she hits you twice in the same spot, you die, it's clean. Right. But her Bankai is essentially a nuke.
Her Bankai is overkill.
Yeah. So even though those things are, this is silent and deadly, and this is a big explosion essentially. The same thing is, insta kill, like death. The death. Her Bankai is the bringer of death.
Right.
And instead of instead of being like quiet assassin, now we're talking about like a huge, wide area effect, all consuming.
Right. Byakuya, 1,000 cherry blossoms, 10,000 cherry blossoms.
Yeah, his sword goes from like a 1,000 blades to. It's not. He says 10,000, but it's really like infinite.
Right, it's
like
more metaphorical.
Yeah, it's hundreds of millions of blades, but the power is basically the same. But his is just it's just scaled to the max.
Right.
So you see here theme contrast.
It's coming. So then Urahara's Bankai is naturally okay. So it's a manifestation. Okay, that's fine. We see these types.
Of Benahime,
right.
his namesake of his sword.
Right.
It's her in the flesh.
It's Benahime over here.
Which roughly translates... Oh, yeah. There she is.
There she is.
Oh! Which roughly translates to the Blood Princess.
Right.
Roughly.
And so... But then the power becomes an ambiguous stitching?
She's like a seamstress.
And we don't really get much of what this power is.
So she can take things apart and put things back together?
And it just kind of is left hanging out there.
Yeah, and it's like an area effect. Like the guy who's fighting, like he literally tore him apart, but he didn't die. He was just like undone at the seams, quite literally, until like he backed out.
Right, and so I was thinking maybe it would be either...
And then like he like lost his eyesight, but then like she stitched them back open.
Right.
Which I don't know if you're going blind, how just stitching your eyelids open make you see.
Maybe it's the boxer thing, right? If you have like blood, you want to like drain the blood and stitch it open. Yeah. I don't know, but based on what his
to be fair, the guy he was fighting was like his power was poison, and I really wasn't sure what the fuck he was doing.
Poison rings, right? Where he's like, I'm gonna hit you with rings and like crush things, right? Because that's how Urahara lost the eye. Like he like used a ring and like pinched his eye.
Yeah, but and then like I honestly don't know what was going on.
A lot of this battle was questionable.
But we're talking about the Bankai here.
So, right, I thought it was either going to be like a bigger area effect, like I can now just manipulate reality, period. Like instead of like having a construct, you could just like at will create things, like pure creation, like power of creation.
But just with blood.
With blood. Or maybe even just like blood manipulation.
Yeah, like I control, like a bloodbender almost. Like I control my blood, I can control your blood. Maybe the more blood he uses, the more things he can do if he starts using his actual blood now.
Right, or the more blood that's shed during battle.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, so now he's like, he never used it because now like the battle, he's never fought long enough to get a bloody battlefield, but now that he has, he's just doing all sorts of crazy things. Wait, you know what? So, all right, before we go, what should they have done, Jared?
What should they have done? They should have had the battle go to completion and then shown us what it was.
Number one. Complete the actual battle. Don't leave it on hiatus and never come back to it. That's what they did. People like midway through the battle, it was like Urahara was pushed in the corner even with his Bankai, and then we just never saw him again. Not like because he died. Like we never saw either of the characters again.
No, they don't matter. Mm-mm. And number 2, I'm just going to go with blood manipulation. It makes the most sense for what his Shikai was. Like, even if, like, you still have Benihime be manifested. I don't know, maybe, just as a symbolic form of who she is. I don't know, or maybe even just
Well, I like that because when you do usually have symbolic manifestation, you actually no longer have a sword.
Right.
So he can literally, just for a visual effect, like, be blood, like, he can just be like, and she's just like, right. Whatever his will is, she's actually there.
Manipulating it?
Yeah, making it happen.
Maybe, like, even if it was like a manipulation type, like, she's like she's the marionette figure and she has ties to both fighters. I don't know.
And then, like, when he does need a sword, she herself then does, or when she acquires enough blood, when she's fed enough blood or something, she thus pulls out, the official Bankai sword or whatever, and then, it's just
sweeps the field, sweeps the leg,
or it's just stupid strong, or
any of these would have been what they should have done. So,
but they didn't, and they just kind of just bonked it up.
They bonked the Bankai. Bonk.
You're in rare form today.
Thank you. So, speaking of rare forms, mobile gamers, they're kind of rare, are they? I don't think so, actually. I'm going to contradict myself. I think they're probably the majority of gamers.
I read an article. It depends on how do you define a mobile gamer. Is it someone who legit uses their phone to game? Or anyone who has a phone is a gamer as long as they're playing. Like, if I'm playing Snake on my phone, I'm gaming on a mobile device, therefore I'm a mobile gamer. In that regard, everyone on the planet, so approximately half the people on the planet, so 3.5 billion people have mobile devices. Out of those 3.5 billion people, I say a good 99.999% of them have a game on their phone, and they play a game on their phone. Even if that's as simple as I'm in the lobby and I'm just playing a simple Bejeweled-esque match 3 game, or a tap to jump, run, scoop, an endless runner of some sort.
Mario Run and Sonic Jump.
Or in all the other not those games.
I hesitate to say it has to be a certain type of game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I completely 100% want to denounce people playing Snake as a legit gamer. Like, I do. I know they are, by pure definition, and I should include it, because just because that game has no depth to me doesn't mean that game doesn't have depth to them. Well, I get that argument.
I guess we could also argue, is there a difference between a gamer and a player?
Huh.
Are these, like, tiers of things?
Yeah,
but then again, gamer also has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah. To be a gamer, how much must one game?
Right? But I mean, obviously there's some easy answers here, like you said, like Pokemon Go players, yes, gamers. Fortnite players, obviously on a mobile game is a gamer.
Why would you play Fortnite on? I mean, people.
I don't know. It seems like it'd be really hard.
Any game, like when they have like, Street Fighter, the phone edition, it's like, no.
Right. I'll even give it like all the mobile like tank games, like the build, because those I think
the tower defense ones. And stuff?
I think those actually lend themselves especially well to mobile gaming.
Remember when Clash of Clans was like you couldn't get away from it?
It was everywhere. Is Prison Architect on mobile yet?
I don't know.
Because that would also, I think, be
pretty
good.
You get games like Undertale and Donut County, which are quintessential games, but they're just not on your phone.
Right. They're simple. I don't know. We might have to redefine to make this topic.
All right,
make sense.
for our purposes, what do we consider a mobile gamer? I say someone who plays something that involves more than just simply tapping for a simple action. But then there's games like Mario and Sonic Jump and Mario Run where I consider them more of a game, but if it was just a nameless, endless runner, I wouldn't consider it. So it's really kind of tough.
I was going to say, we should probably define what we think games are, which, like, serious or video games are.
Okay, I will say something more than Bejeweled or Snake. There has to be, like, characters for one.
No, I won't say there has to be a character. I say there has to be an obtainable objective. Okay, because
not an endless goal of a high score. Something more that's just
right. Because this would even include things down to chess. Right, the objective is to beat things. We're with friends. The objective is to beat people. Bejeweled, I play it on my phone. I technically rank highest amongst my friends that doesn't mean anything.
So a game that has a definite end, not a definitive, like, it goes on forever.
Not that it has to end. I mean, because, obviously, like, various games, you just keep going. Like Smash Brothers, like we talked about in our last episode, you just kind of keep playing.
Yeah, it's a fighting game.
But, the goal is clear. It's something you obtain, and then you can go again.
That's more than simply a high score.
Right. Because I think even when I'm trying to think Farmville and Farmville games are basically dead, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, then I even feel like that because, like, Pac-Man. Everyone consider Pac-Man a game. But
Not
it's
a fun game.
But essentially, it doesn't have an end. The levels will keep, until you reach, what's it, 288, the fabled. That's when, like, things get wacky if you manage to play that long.
Ugh. I don't know.
So now, it seems like we're now trying to figure out, are they gamers? Well, what is a game?
What is a game?
Is this a gamer?
No, that is a meme.
Okay, screw it. I'm going to say this.
Uh-huh.
If you exclusively only play games on your phone,
mm-hmm.
like you don't play it on the PC, you don't own a console.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone owns a PC, but you don't own any PC games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have friends that play games on their phone, obviously.
Right.
But they don't own, like, there's plenty of people who own Pokemon Go, but they never own the actual DS or Game Boy.
Or Switch. Coming November, Pokemon Let's Go.
So, yeah, let's define it as a mobile gamer is someone who exclusively only ever plays a game on a phone.
Okay.
Are they gamers? I say no, because they're not a gamer in the traditional sense. Can they be considered one? Possibly.
I guess we should also include now in the middle of the segment, we're not trying to gatekeep people out from being gamers because you can obviously we encourage you to pick up a real game and play with us. Like, we're not trying to keep you out of the living room.
Yeah.
Mom says it's my turn to play the Xbox. No.
But it's really hard. So if we had this argument maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have said no. It would have been a hard no.
We wouldn't be having the segment.
Yeah, but now there's games that are exclusively mobile games like Monument Valley
mm-hmm.
that are actually really good, made for phones and are only on phones.
Right.
And I wouldn't by any means say Monument Valley is not a game. It is a very well designed puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to the app stores, and there's a lot of games, not a lot of indie games that are simple enough, they're now being, ported to mobile. Like Bastion, I know, is on mobiles, Undertale is on mobiles.
Mm-hmm.
And some indie games may also release at the same time as they do on consoles. So the platform is there. But if you exclusively play games on your phone, I will say you're a gamer by pure definition, but you're really missing out on the essence of life.
World. Right.
Like if you're a chef, but you only ever cook at McDonald's and you only ever plan to cook at McDonald's, I guess you're making food.
You are technically making food that is consumed by other people.
But there's such a wider, broader spectrum of,
There's a whole palette out there, a whole of things you can obtain and consume.
Mobile gamers.
So I guess what we've concluded here is yes.
Asterisk.
No, not even asterisk.
Not
just
even asterisk.
They are.
They are.
We have to include them, but I don't know. I feel it's not a gatekeeping issue. It's
not a medium that will, because I remember people were like, mobile's game is going to destroy the DS. It did not. Mobile games going to destroy all forms of, handheld devices, and that weird argument that it somehow is going to ruin the console market. And I'm like, no, because as great as we can get more complex games on the phone, there's a lot of more complex games that would never work on the phone.
I don't know. I've seen Doom on a phone.
Like, the new Spider-Man on the phone, the new Red Dead Redemption 2 on the phone, Smash Brothers on the phone. And there's also the issue of, even if you could get on it, controlling it.
That's probably the real. I mean, look at your phone right now. Is it cracked? Are things missing out of it?
It's not.
Is it touch sensitive all the way around anymore?
And then it's like, and I'm also not about to get like the controller that I put my phone in. Now I'm like, no, that's. And we've talked about this before. Your phone still needs to be a phone. I can't play a full feature experience, constantly getting text messages, email notifications, phone calls, etc. throughout.
It's true.
So they're gamers, yes. Should it be your go-to form of gaming? Definitely not. That's a hard no for me.
Yeah. So if you only play on mobile, we encourage you to pick up something different. But something else I'm going to implore you to do, Odell. Stop watching Fairy Tail. This is an intervention episode for both of us. It's not good. It's like if Naruto just took a big pile of drugs and then just went to I don't know. I don't know what you do after that. Just off the rails.
All right. So like we said, we're introducing our new segment that we're calling Trashy Trash.
Trashy Trash.
Trashy Trash. But we love it. So it's the things that are trashy, horrible across all forms of media that you like. You know it sucks. You know the genre.
It's like going to a buffet. Why am I here? I don't know. But I'm eating the food.
I like buffets. I mean,
I implore you to stop.
I feel bad about my life choices.
I'm so sorry.
But yeah, so for me, that thing is Fairy Tail. I am very vocal about this on social media. If you watch or read the manga, and if you read the manga, you already know that the series ended a while back. Horribly. I won't spoil it for anyone because the last season's going on now. But guess what? If you watch Fairy Tail, you know how they get their butts whooped every episode, and with the most laziest writing, Natsu or some other characters like friendship, and then you perceive that they have an amazing fight with the antagonist. No, they one shot them. They're just like, my friends, and that's it. And then they meet another villain that's well developed, great storyline, great characters, and then he wipes the floor with them like he rips arms off. There was a part where a character lost her sight, her feeling, sight, sound. She lost all her senses, taste, everything. But through
perception of time,
but through the power and willingness. So not only has she lost all her senses, she was brutally tortured.
Okay.
Lost all her senses, had pain turned back on for the purpose to be brutally tortured.
Okay.
And then had her senses turned up to where if you tickled her with a feather, it was like her being whipped with a whip. That's how sensitive her skin was.
Wow. So
she was tickled with a feather, was in agonizing pain, and then received regular torture, which means,
You know what this sounds like?
What?
Torture for the viewer.
And then this person did that, and then some people tried to come rescue her. She powered up, beat them. So now in a powered up state, this character is in a lesser state. But then through the power of my friends, Will powered it and was just like, I sent you through friendship magic, and was just like, ha cha cha cha.
That would still be better if it was like My Little Pony, where friendship is an actual form of magic that they can use. But it's not.
That's funny because My Little Pony has great storyline, great character development, where friendship is magic, not in a world where magic exists and friendship is just a made-up power. They get, oh man,
right.
The mind is being blown.
So I've suggested.
Let's all stop watching Fairy Tail and watch My Little Pony. Friendship is magic.
Right, it's everything you clearly want.
But they've come out with a new manga it's a sequel series called Fairy Tail: The 100-Year Quest. And in the comments, other manga readers have joined me. We're like, oh, it started off good. Again, it has good characters, has good development. But we're like 11, 12 chapters in now, and it's just going back to old tropes. And it's just like, okay, it's going to be garbage. It's going to be garbage, and I'm going to keep reading it.
So a salamander can't change his stripes unless he does, because he was actually the salamander the whole time, which is really the dragon, which is actually, dragons don't exist, which is really just me, the main character, that I was looking for myself. Fairy Tail.
Yes.
Right, that's like episode 1.
Yeah. I mean, he does find his dad. They're dead, but the dragon...
That was when I was done with it, where he seems to have forgotten his very point... And the key thing, literally, I stopped.
Yeah, the beginning, he had a plot, and then my other favorite thing was in episode 3 or 4, you learn a mage's greatest weakness, which is physical strength, because
I thought it was gonna be friendship.
No, their greatest weakness.
Because if you're defeated by friendship.
Yeah, they learned that a mage's greatest strength, is physical, strength. And then you find out, except they turn that everyone's magically turned that greatest weakness into a greatest strength because they solve a lot of problems just by fighting and beating each other up. So like you built this up as to be the major's greatest strength, but yet they actually most often not settle the situation by a really powerful one-timey punch.
Ugh.
After they themselves were beaten to a literal pulp in some cases.
Ugh. This is just sounding tedious.
If you love Fairy Tail, comment about how much you love and hate it, because there is no one on this planet who enjoys Fairy Tail but doesn't also hate it at the same time because it does not respect its fans, myself included. But we keep coming back for some unknown reason to me. We literally, people, I've shown you this, people go watch it just to hate it. Like, it has become enjoyable to take it in, spit out Val, and then go with others people like...
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's what the creator's doing, trying to give you something
to hate,
to unite behind.
It's the greater good. It's uniting us.
Oh my gosh!
Like, I'm gonna be a politician, and my platform is gonna be Fairy Tail sucks.
and Senator, what is your policy on trash removal for the city? That's not the same. That's not what that job does. But Fairy Tail sucks. Woo! Landslide victory.
It's like one of those cartoons where like they come up with a slogan and they just say they're like, I can't remember. There was a cartoon like that where like he just kept saying something simple,
well,
like to run, and everyone like goes crazy.
Well, that was a whole like Family Guy episode where she's running for like superintendent.
Oh, she's
9,
like 11 is
11.
bad.
Yeah, it's like
9,
11 is bad. 9, and she just keeps doing it.
Yeah,
yeah.
That would be me, but with Fairy Tail sucks. All right, I'm gonna go wallow in my corner now.
I'm sorry. So the thing that I just also finished binge watching was yet another rendition of Fate on Netflix.
/Night Zero.
/Night Zero / Stay Night / this was like Infinity Encore Loop Repeat. No, it's literally called like Fate Encore or something.
Oh man, this reminds me of like the .hack sign era of anime.
Yeah,
when it was like .hack sign. That like it confused me that they also had the game with the same name, which was basically the anime but the game, and then it was like .hack double sign. You know, I watched it when it was on Toonami, and I remember thinking, I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Fate was, or
no, the .hack sign.
Okay.
Reloaded 0 : square. Like no, people, these were really like the names. Like the names were essentially like the computer URL
smash
with more things as it went on. I'm sorry. Do your thing.
No, it's just and it's like it starts out so good. Unlike Fairy Tail, it starts out with such a good premise. We're going to have a holy grail war, a war amongst 8 people, and everybody gets one kind of like spirit to fight for them, and whoever wins gets the holy grail. Okay, cool. But then it's like, we start getting to the end. And, okay, so this is my main complaint against pretty much all anime. A lot of anime suddenly, like in the last 2 episodes, just like goes off the rails. It gets like existential and like rule breaky. It's like it's like in Neon Genesis, right? It's like, oh, by the way, the battle bot not only is your mother, but your mother's brain is also in the computer. But also, you are your mother, reborn from her plasma from the monster. / we are also all the monsters. We're the 13th alien. And you're like, what?
They basically throw all the rules out the window, and a story that made sense no longer makes sense.
So in Fate, I think the very first one is Fate Stay Night. It's like, yeah, by the way, the Holy Grail actually, we've had it, and it's this person the whole time. And you're like, okay. But she's not actually a person. She's just like a homunculus, but then like it's inside of her. You're like, okay, but also you need to kill your servants to like summon it. I'm like, but you just said it exists. Yeah, but to make it really exist. What do you mean by that? And they do this a lot. They like, yeah, the ultimate rule is this pin exists, except it doesn't. And we actually need 13 pins to make it exist. Okay. But actually, you know what? Never mind. Screw the 13 pins. I'm just going to obtain the pin. And you're like, literally last night, this was a Fate Encore. They're at the final thing. They need to obtain the Grail. Skipping some details there. And they're like, okay, between us and the Grail is this like super weapon, the Master, and then a shield barrier. And so like, how do we do this? Well, we can't just go around it because all those things are in the way. so we need to, well, we can't break the weapon. It's too powerful. And the master will see us coming. Hey, guys, I have this idea. What if we go around them? I was like, you just said that was impossible for the things that you... It just paradoxically breaks rules over and over again. And I'm like, why do I keep watching this? And in between series, it's like, the first one, it's like, hey, that Holy Grail, it actually wasn't the real Holy Grail. It was the fake Lesser Grail. And you're like, okay. But also, at the end of the second one, the Grail didn't really like who won. So now we're going to have a bigger Grail. And it just keeps doing this. I'm like, you just...
And you just keep coming back.
Right? That last war wasn't actually started by the Grail itself. It was started by heretics. So it wasn't officially a Grail war. I'm like, oh my god. But people died and people got like, the consequences still carry forward for some reason, despite the fact that it wasn't real. Like, I don't... Ugh. So when the next one comes out, I'll tell you how it is. Because I'm apparently going to watch it too.
So there it is. You heard our trash shows that we just keep coming back and watching. Hopefully, Full Circle is not one of them. And if it is, then, well, you're still here. So.
Right? It's like, that doesn't matter. Just keep watching. That's the takeaway here.
Tell your friends how much you hate it and how they should join in and watching it with your hate. And, hell, I mean, Fairy Tail still has millions of fans. So, right? So be it.
So, we hope you... So with that, we hope you, again, do keep coming back to us. We hope you follow us on Twitter, because we have such fancy giveaways.
Yes.
For the first 1,000 followers, and then prizes at the quarters, $250, $500, and $750.
You also heard us talk about and debate and declare and really question our own existence as gamers. Are mobile gamers really gamers? Are any of us really gamers? Short answer, yes. Asterisk. I'm keeping that asterisk there. I'm sorry.
Asterisk. Okay. Fair enough. And you heard our opinion on how... our first opinion on how the writer should have done it for Bleach, Kisuke Urahara's Bankai.
And if you don't like how we do it, maybe you should let us know how we should do it. And we might take that into consideration, unlike some authors.
Taikubo.
Yeah. We probably won't, though.
Yeah.
If your recommendations are like bigger table, bigger area, better equipment, well,
send us money.
Send us, yeah, exactly.
We will happily buy whatever table, whatever shirt you want, if you give us the money.
Yeah, I'll give you my PayPal.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
And who is me? Me is Jared Fradette, and you can find me at Toon Velo.
And me is Harmon Jr. You can find me at Harmon Jr. Don't forget to also that the podcast itself is on social media at FC Podcast 23. That's Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
And thank you for joining us for another great episode. Enjoy your week, everybody.